Ask another question, and then we can see if he gets back. So
yeah,
just
that's
skip
fine.
and go to another question. Yeah.
Let's see here. RS Lionstar asks, could it be Azeroth is infused with the energy of death? Since the blood of Azeroth is golden blue, could Azeroth be the creation made out of soul energy from death, and in addition, the combined energy of all other 5 entities, like the dragon soul combined the energy of all dragon aspects?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of interesting things about Azeroth. Things that at the time I saw no one talk about, and obviously I wasn't really talking about them because I was angry at WoW at the time. But now that I'm sort of editing videos, I deal with the cinematics quite a lot. And there's a couple of interesting things. One specifically that I wanted to show you guys. I'm not sure if it's this cinematic, but let's see.
Can your mortal minds fathom how long I have waited? Every event set in motion, every pawn put into play, all to claim the power slumbering within your world.
All to claim the power slumbering within your world. So there's definitely something extremely special about Azeroth, and this proves it. I've been saying it for such a long fucking time, and every single time people would be like, nah, bro. Of course they're just attacking us because, you know, we live on Azeroth. It's not that Azeroth is special. He literally, every single thing that Zuval have put in place, every action that he's taken, the lies that he told Sargeras in order to get Sargeras on his side, all of it was for Azeroth. That's what he wanted. He wanted Azeroth. Now, we know that the Titans tell us that Azeroth is more powerful than anything that they have ever seen before. They've never encountered a being quite as powerful as Azeroth. We don't know exactly what that power refers to, and we don't know exactly how that power functions. But we do know, to your question specifically, that death must at least to some extent be part of that power structure. How do we know this? A couple of reasons. Number one, the mortals of Azeroth seem to have some connection with Azeroth that stops us from dying. We do not die and go into the Shadowlands. When we die, we're brought back. We are tethered to Azeroth, as it were. The Shadowlands confirms this. Yogg-Saron is an old god. An old god. Yet Yogg-Saron refers to himself as the god of death. How? He's not a god of death. He's an old god. The old gods are not gods of death. We know who the gods of death are. We just saw them. So why would Yogg-Saron refer to himself as the god of death? Perhaps because by tapping into Azeroth, he gained access to the realms of death. He gained access to the power of death. There is a good chance, if we sort of look at the Nathrezim and their infiltration journal, where the Nathrezim speak about not the Nathrezim, sorry, the brokers and the Grimoire of the Shadowlands, and specifically the documents that came prior to the Grimoire of the Shadowlands, where the expedition documents that we found, where the brokers speak about the seventh power, right? The power of the two, then one of the two became 3, then became 5, and then finally became 6, and ultimately became 7. But the 7th seemed to be a fractal of the 6. They don't know if the 7th came from the 6 or if the 6 came from the 7. This they do not know, but they do know that there is a 7th one, and the 7th one seems to be a collection of the 6. This would suggest that what the Titans ultimately saw as the beginning of the universe, and what the Grimoire of the Shadowlands and the Brokers describe as the universe, is Azeroth. The Titans claim that in the beginning there was an ocean of light, and the universe expanded and exploded from the ocean of light outwards that created the great beyond, and all of the planets and all of the Titans within it. What if that ocean of light was actually Azeroth? What if Azeroth was the thing that created everything else? So in other words, all of the cosmic powers come from Azeroth. All of the cosmic powers find their place, their power within Azeroth. And Azeroth finds her power from them. This would make Azeroth perhaps the one and only first one in the universe. It also explains why they don't want Azeroth to wake up. Because if she does wake up, she is the only Titan powerful enough to destroy all of them. It explains why all of them are constantly vying for her power, why all of them have declared war on her, so to speak, why the light works so hard to find some kind of foothold on Azeroth, why every force tries to get to Azeroth so desperately, because Azeroth holds the power to ultimate victory. Whoever can control Azeroth controls the universe. If she can be controlled, of course. The problem is, if she can't be controlled, well, you're fucked. So it's sort of like they're playing with fire and hoping that they don't get burned by it. I don't know if that answers the question. It's difficult to answer the question of, is Azeroth part of Death, or is Death part of Azeroth? Because as much as we know about Azeroth, there's more that we do not know about Azeroth. In fact, I would argue that there's much more that we don't know about Azeroth. And I don't know if Blizzard is ever going to give us this information. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe it's better if we don't know, because it leaves the door open for speculation. And honestly, based on how information have come out in the last few expansions, perhaps speculation is better. So when Azeroth wakes up, it's end of story. Grofall, not necessarily, because Azeroth could ultimately wake up and a new story could be born, because remember, in the beginning there were 2 powers. One of these 2 powers became 3, 5, and then 6, and then ultimately 7. The other power isn't part of the system. So when Azeroth wakes up, she could subjugate or bring balance to all 6 of the cosmic forces. But then we zoom out and we realize, holy shit, it is actually not us against our universe. It's actually our universe against another universe. So there is the potential to zoom out even more and get an even bigger brain story on the outskirts. Although we have to start asking ourselves, at what point are we zoomed out so much that we just have no fucking idea of which way is up anymore? And I do think when we zoomed out enough to sort of see death, see beyond the veil, I think a lot of people sort of met their limits. So for a lot of people, the sort of just seeing behind the cosmic curtain was enough to go, never mind. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. So yeah, that's sort of what I would. That's sort of what I would say to that. I hope that answers the question. Thanks for the question, by the way. I really appreciate that.